Today we're going to be talking about YouTube, and specifically what it's like to be a van life content creator on the road. I remember that watching copious amounts of Eamon and Beck and Van Wives are what made me decide to get into van life and into YouTube in the first place, and now content creation is my full-time job. I'm going to be exposing it all: how much money I make, the process of bringing an idea to life, the hardships, the failures, the successes, the easy parts of the job, the gear and the software you might need to pursue this kind of career, basically anything under the sun when it comes to being a YouTube van lifer. You guys submitted some questions and assumptions that you have about being a van life content creator over on my Instagram page. Feel free to give it a follow if you would like more content. So without further ado, let's get right into it. In 2016, I moved to Santa Cruz, California. I graduated college and I worked in a native plant nursery working in ecological restoration, saving up as much money as I could. After a while, I kept getting antsier and antsier in Santa Cruz and knew I really wanted to travel. And so with all that money saved up, I figured I would go ahead, quit my job, and do just that. But then 2020 happened and my entire plan came crumbling down. YouTube has always been a friend of mine. More than movies or TVs, I have always gone to YouTube to disassociate at the end of the day, or to learn something new, or to get inspired. And I'd been watching all of this van life content, especially build videos, and I thought, I could do that. And so instead of going international, I invested all of my money into a van build. And I kind of decided that if I was going to build a van on my own, I might as well try YouTube as well. But I have to say, I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to film a video or edit. I'd never done it before. I had never built a van or had any construction experience whatsoever. But even so, I managed to post my first video on YouTube on December of 2020. I shot it on an old iPhone 7 that I had had for years. I didn't have any microphones. I downloaded a free software called DaVinci Resolve that I still use to this day, but I'll talk about it later. And that was that. All of a sudden I was online. I think at first that video had about 10 views. In 2021, in May, I started posting weekly videos. I kind of call May my actual YouTube starting point, and for the next 6 months I filmed on my iPhone 7 and I used a painter's easel as a tripod that I had bought on Amazon. It was a multi-purpose tool before slowly investing in more gear that could help my career grow. By the way, this talk of investing in gear over time is meant to show you that you don't need fancy equipment in order to start a YouTube channel. Just use whatever you have, even if it's an iPhone 7 and an old paint easel you bought for 20 bucks off Amazon. Whatever you have will work, and with time you can grow. In October of 2021, I had my first truly viral video, my van life evening routine, and that completely changed the trajectory of my career. I actually just pulled up the analytics and it's actually kind of crazy. It is now at 5.5 million views, which right under says 5.4 million more than usual. And this video alone has gotten me 51,000 subscribers, which is almost half of my total subscribership. One of you guys posted the assumption that being a van life content creator is luck, and I think this video emphasizes just how much luck plays into this whole thing. This video is not one of my best videos. It's probably not even in the top 30 of my favorite videos I've ever made, which is unfortunate, but it just goes to show that sometimes the algorithm will pick up on a provocative image and it'll show you to millions of people who wouldn't have seen you otherwise. At a similar time as when I was posting that viral evening routine video, I had been making enough to scrape by. I think I was making about $1,000 off of ad revenue, and so obviously this would not be enough money to live by if I lived in a house and had to pay rent, but I was living extremely minimally in my van, and so I had just enough to scrape by, which brings me to my next category, money. One of the assumptions that you guys made over on Instagram is that as a YouTube content creator and van lifer, you are bound to struggle financially due to a lack of stable income. And as you can see from what I showed you in 2021, that is very true. And I think with any business that you are starting on your own, and YouTube is a business, it's going to take time before you see a profit. In 2021, I didn't have a whole lot going for me. I was still really learning how to film and how to edit. I was learning my creative style. I didn't have a lot of subscribers, and so I didn't have a lot of viewership, and I had so little subscribers that I wasn't a good applicant for brand deals, which really helped supplement income later on. That being said, my YouTube career is a success story, and I no longer struggle nearly as much as I did in the beginning when I was still learning so much and didn't have the money to invest in the gear that I needed to improve my videos. You can see here that I made $21,105 off of YouTube AdSense in 2022. All of this is taxable income. I don't get a W-4 because I don't have an employer. I work for myself, so I have to pay the standard income tax on all of this as well as self-employment tax. In 2022, however, something really big changed for me. All of a sudden, I had enough subscribers on YouTube that I was a good applicant for brand deals. In January of 2022, I signed on with the marketing agency, The Station. Through this agency, I sign on with various brands that I do 1 minute to 90-second ads for during my videos, and this is where I get the vast majority of my income.
You can also reach out to brands independently of an agent, or brands might reach out to you via a business email. Agents can help you get higher rates and work with better brands, but take anywhere from a 15% to 20% commission. The number one most important thing about brand deals is to make sure you are only signing on with brands that you really believe in and products that you would genuinely recommend. Don't sell out. Be selective. I've personally turned down a lot of money knowing that certain products or brands do not align with my values or what I want to be recommending to my online community. Money will always come in, but once that trust is gone, it's difficult to get it back. Choosing brands and products that you genuinely stand by will go a long way in building a stronger community on your platform in the long run, as it is built on that trust and it's way more fun anyway.
Once you are at the point where you are doing brand deals regularly, being a van lifer is not really your friend. If you're a YouTuber who lives in a house, you can just have all of your products shipped directly to you. But I have to figure out where there's a USPS that offers general delivery. I'm currently driving an hour and a half away to the only USPS that I can find nearby that does offer general mail delivery, and I've driven as far as 3 hours to get a package. It's really nice to do brand deals that don't involve a package at all. One of my favorite examples is Skillshare. I've worked with them a lot. I love them, and that way I don't have to drive anywhere to do the sponsorship. I can just do it right on my computer. I'll check in with you guys in an hour and a half when we arrive at our USPS. Okay, so fun plot twist. This has happened once or twice before, but basically I go to a USPS and then they say they don't carry general delivery, even if you go on their site and it says that they do. So she referred me to another USPS post office downtown, so we're going there next. Got it! When I first started doing brand deals at the beginning of 2022, I think I had about 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, and my going rate was around $700 per advertisement with a commission that went to my agency every single time. As you get more subscribers and, more importantly, more consistent viewership, you are able to increase your rate with time. Speaking of brand deals, this is Maddie from the future, here to talk about today's sponsor, Ofuzzy. Ofuzzy is a brand that sells high-quality, modern home appliances for your comfort and convenience. The product I'm going to share with you guys today, the H7 Pro handheld vacuum cleaner, has genuinely become the handiest tool I have in the van. I actually deep cleaned my van a couple weeks ago, and when I tell you that this did the bulk of the job, I am not even kidding. I live in a really tight space here in the van with a lot of difficult to reach corners and tricky spaces to clean, but this vacuum handles it with ease. It has really powerful suctioning and also has 2 speed modes to accommodate your needs. It's also extremely lightweight, coming in at only 1 pound, and look at how sweet and compact it is so that it's really easy to store away when not in use. It charges in just around 2 hours with the USB cable that it comes with, but you can also use a standard iPhone charger to charge it. I have tried 2 other handheld vacuums in my van, but genuinely none of them compare to this one. This one is lighter weight, it's more compact, and it's also more powerful than the other vacuums I've tried. Plus, it comes in 5 really beautiful and elegant colors just like this one. Ofuzzy is offering you guys a special Mother's Day deal, 16% off the H7 Pro handheld vacuum cleaner, in addition to 20% off one of their highly reviewed smart fans. You can check out both of these links in the description box below, and thank you so much to Ofuzzy for sponsoring today's video. With the combination of AdSense, my brand deals, and also other revenue streams, including my Patreon and print sales, I've been able to make a lot more than I was in 2021. But that being said, in 2022, I had a lot of upstart costs and business expenses that dramatically lowered my net profit. The iPhone 7 and the painter's easel that I was using as a tripod eventually had to go, and I needed to invest in my career by getting better gear. I eventually invested in an iPhone 11 that I was using for a while. I was gifted the Canon M50 one year for Christmas and the tripod that you're on right now, which is pretty amazing. And ultimately I bought the Sony a7 III that I'm using right now, in addition to the Rode microphone above it, which was about $300. The entire body right now is about $3,000 worth. When I first started, I also used a dinosaur computer that took about 4 hours to upload any footage at all, and ultimately had to invest in a higher quality computer. This one was about $2,000. This does not include the small things that really add up over time, like batteries and SD cards, all of the print supplies I needed to print out some of my art prints. It doesn't include the gas that it takes to get to the destinations that I film at. And so you can see that after all of these investments, my 2022 net profit is quite a bit lower than what it says on here. Editing Maddie here. There was a question that someone asked that I wanted to answer but forgot to when I was sitting down, and that's how to know what kind of gear to buy and who to trust. When I was going to buy a camera, I actually asked a friend of mine who had used the Sony a7 III for many years, and they really liked it. And so just trusting the guidance of people who have more experience with these products, I think, is the best way to go. I also often went to Google. There are a lot of pages that you can find that have reviews, in-depth reviews for why each different camera body is better, etc., etc. So going to those and checking them out is also a good resource. One last thing I wanted to talk about for specifically van life YouTubers is the startup cost of internet. Because I'm remote so much of the time, it is so wonderful to have Starlink. My friend Sarah invested in it initially, and then I split it 3 ways with her and Tori when I'm traveling with them. And now that I'm traveling solo, I've been paying the $150 bill every single month to have internet wherever I go. Just kidding, there's one more thing I want to talk about when it comes to money, and that is how much your income can vary dramatically across the YouTube platform, even within the van life niche. It all comes down to 2 main things. 1 is your viewership, and 2 is your RPM and CPM. If you get more views on your videos, you will be receiving more income. Far more important than subscriberships is whether or not you have consistent views. Your CPM is how much advertisers pay Google per 1,000 views on your channel with ads. Your RPM is the cut of that you get to pocket. If you're constantly recommending products on your channel, you will be considered more marketable, and both your RPM and your CPM will be much higher. I do recommend content in my videos, and a lot of the time they're things that I really do highly recommend that I think will make your life easier. But most of the time my videos are about doing things that don't cost a lot of money at all, like going outside and going on hikes. Maybe you have to spend some gas to get there, but you don't have to buy too many things, and therefore my channel overall is less marketable than someone who is recommending a lot of products. That being said, I know that there are van life YouTube channels who make an insane amount of money. There is definitely a lot of money to be earned on this platform. Eamon and Beck are kind of at the highest tier of possible income in the van life niche, I would guess. And that is because their videos are so clickable, so watchable, and people are coming back time and time again. One of you asked me about my process of making videos, whether or not I come up with the story in edit or if I know what it's going to be beforehand. I think most of the time I have an idea about what I want to create. Obviously this video was very planned out. My filming days are typically Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I edit everything on Thursday and Friday. My editing takes a really long time. I usually do back-to-back 12-hour editing days to get my videos done. And if I was better at time management, I would be editing by the time Wednesday rolled around. And my filming usually takes 1 to 2 days unless I have a larger project in mind, in which case I might be filming a little bit every single day of the week and then adding it into my editing flow whenever I can. Editing Maddie here with my pillow muffling the very loud sound that my computer fan makes, just to say that I think your editing and filming time will dramatically vary depending on who you are. I have some friends who do YouTube on the road and their editing takes half the amount of time as mine does, and they're also filming more often than I am, so it really just depends on who you are and your flow. I had some questions about how to get comfortable on camera and how to know what to film, and for both of these things I'll refer to an hourglass quote that I absolutely love. The key point here is in having a large body of work and the discipline to commit to putting work out that might not be your best ever. I make weekly videos. Do I love every single video I put out? Do I think they're my best video ever? Absolutely not. But I do my best. I try to make videos that I believe in and that I can feel proud of, and that's really all I can do. And that's really all you can do too. I was watching the first video I ever made earlier today, and it is so different than the kind of videos that I make now. And I'm sure that if I looked at content from a year and a half ago, it would be very different from the ones I make today. That's just the case. You improve with time. I do want to add, it definitely does take a long time to be comfortable on camera if you're not already comfortable. I know this took a long time for me, and even when my friends are around, I lose my train of thought or I stutter and I still get really embarrassed. So just to reiterate, it takes a large body of work just practicing to be both more comfortable and more skilled. There's an assumption that someone left that I really love, and it's that van life content creation takes a lot of effort, and this is very true. It really does. I mean, this is a really privileged job. It makes sense why people think that it doesn't take a lot of work, because I do get to go to beautiful places and film them. That being said, I definitely work 40-hour work weeks, sometimes even 50 or 60, trying to capture what I want on film, and mostly, like I said, spending upwards of 24 to 30 hours editing my videos. Yes, it is an extremely privileged job, and yes, I worked hard to get here. One person left the assumption that this job gets boring sometimes, and the only way to answer that is that I do get creative burnout, and most of my friends who are content creators also get burnout. YouTube is an endless cycle of videos, right? There are so many videos on this platform. Because I am trying to post weekly content, sometimes I do run out of ideas. Sometimes I don't really want to do the same day in the life over and over again, and maybe I don't have the money to invest in bigger projects with bigger video names that I hope to down the road. There are weeks when I don't really feel creatively inspired, but I still try to get a video out, and in those weeks it can be kind of hard to make inspiring, informative content when inside I'm not feeling creative. The last assumption is that I choose locations and activities based on what I think are content worthy, and I think what this person was probably talking about is just in general in life. Do I choose places now based on where I work? And I think my honest answer is yes. I definitely go to places that I think will be more beautiful or inspiring or educational to film. I think that my job inspires and motivates me to do more and to be more, to go to more cool places, to try more new things so that I can share it with you guys. And I think that's one of the more beautiful parts about the job. It's almost 5:30, so I think we're going to move into bed mode for the next category. This next section is about social life and privacy. I have the assumption that there are stalkers around every corner, or that I won't get my privacy because I'm on the internet, and I definitely want to address this head on. I have gotten some uncomfortable messages online. I'm not going to sugarcoat that, especially on Instagram. I get very strange DMs sometimes, and most of the time I just block them. This will come if you have a platform, basically no matter who you are, but especially as a woman. That being said, I'm almost never recognized in public. In the 2 years that I've been posting weekly on YouTube, I think I've been noticed about 5 times in public, and every single one of those conversations have been so wonderful, and it's made me so happy to meet people who appreciate my work. Even though I do share a large part of myself online, I actually do, this might be weird to some of you, consider myself a pretty private person. You have to remember that the internet shows only a fraction of our lives. I share what I want to share, as everyone does, and though I do try to be vulnerable with you guys and share parts of myself, there are definitely parts of my life that I do like to keep to myself. And I think this falls right in line with another question that someone had, which is whether YouTube van lifers are as nice in person as they appear in their videos. And I think for the most part, yes. That being said, nice people can have bad days, or nice people can be shy. I can be kind of shy if I'm in a large group of people. If I meet you one-on-one, I'm going to be so friendly and so talkative, but I really don't do very well in large social settings, and I don't know how to do the initial hello, and so maybe I come off as not as nice as I am in my videos. Or there might just be a day when I'm not feeling so good, or I don't feel like talking, and so maybe I'm not as friendly, and that's just kind of human nature. We ebb and we flow. The next assumption is that it's easier to make friends as a van life YouTuber. I don't necessarily think that you need to be a van life YouTuber, but I do think that social media is an incredibly powerful tool for all nomads. I have met a vast majority of my friends through social media, and I've been so grateful for it, and that's just because people are all over the map blitzing about, and you never know who you're gonna meet when you drive up to a campsite. And so having social media as a tool to know where people are gonna be and to coordinate meetups can really make a big difference. Moving on to the final category, I want to talk about mental health when it comes to being a van life YouTuber. As I said before, this is a really privileged job, and yet all jobs do come with their challenges. The first assumption that I received over on Instagram is that it's impossible to feel grounded because I'm always moving. Luckily for me, I do have this home. It's my safe bubble, and so no matter where I am in the world, I always have a sense of familiarity at hand. That being said, I do really get tired of traveling all the time. Sometimes I really wish that I could put down roots, have a garden in a backyard, see familiar faces every single day, have a stable community. Don't get me wrong, I love my van life friends. I get to caravan with them for long periods of time, and that provides a lot of stability and groundedness in my life. And yet still, I do crave that stability from time to time, and sometimes I feel like I'm floating on the outskirts of society, becoming kind of feral out here in the boonies all the time. I'm not even kidding. The second assumption is that it's hard to separate work from being in the present moment, and this is something that I definitely struggle with. I think there's definitely a spectrum for how easily content creation comes to you and how comfortable you are being on camera. It's taken a while for me to truly hone in on my craft, and I'm still working on creating good time management for myself because I find myself easily distracted both when I'm filming and when I'm editing. Harder to find that flow state for me than it is for other people. I definitely spend sometimes 30 hours staring at a screen all week, and it gets so old staring at my face and hearing myself talk. I'm sure editing this video is gonna be a real treat. But seriously, I could definitely imagine myself wanting to film for someone else rather than being in front of the camera all the time. I do get to go to all of these incredible places and meet these incredible people and do all of these amazing things and then craft beautiful videos to share with all of you guys and to have forever. That's amazing. That's incredible. And so I'm so grateful to have this job. And when I'm not making those videos, I do have a lot of time to be present with my friends and my surroundings. Just like anyone, when they're off work, that's when you really have time to bask in the present moment. I will say that because I'm self-employed, work does trickle into my mind a lot, whereas I think a lot of people with 9-to-5s maybe just shut it off as soon as they clock out. I never really clock in or clock out. Overall, I think being a van life YouTuber is the dream. That's why I began it, that's why I've continued it for the last 2 years, and why I see myself doing it for years to come. So if any of you watching are already thinking about creating a YouTube channel or being a van life YouTuber, do it. Go for it, pursue your dream. And thank you everyone for submitting questions and assumptions for this video. It really helped navigate how I wanted to address this topic so much more thoroughly. I really appreciate it. Feel free to go check out my Instagram page. I post a lot of more poetic, soft content there and some fun reels as well. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. I needed a quick snack. Stop being so loud. Stop being so loud. My computer is being extremely disruptive to this video.